This is Greg Troutwine with Maritime Reporter TV, and we're very pleased to be joined today by Bob Balog, the Chief Technology Officer of KVH, to discuss the introduction of KVH's new H-Series, the TracNet series. So Bob, I know that the pace of innovation is picking up speed throughout all industries. When you use your career as a bookend, can you put in perspective the pace of innovation in the SATCOM sector as compared to, say, 10, 15 years ago?
Sure. Maybe it seems like it's going faster. Life is going faster, I guess, for a lot of us. We got back into the satellite industry, quite a while back at KVH. For a number of years, we did TVRO products for boats, buses, cars, even aircraft. So we had quite a bit of experience with TVRO products. When we decided to get into VSAT, we didn't know anything but doing, innovative, game-changing sort of products. So we jumped right into that with a 60 centimeter VSAT. And I think back then most of the industry was everybody was 1 meter and up. So we didn't know a lot better. And we went right after as innovative as we could get. So back then that rate of change was going pretty fast for us. From there we followed on with a 37 centimeter, which a lot of people said couldn't be done. It's been wildly successful since we introduced that years and years ago. After that, we got into a V11, which was a C-band KU band combo 1 meter antenna. Another product, everybody was pretty sure you couldn't do. So we've been pushing the envelope all along. Now we're into some new things. We're into a lot more technologies, a lot more available networks. And that's really the gist of where this H-Series is going, keeping up with the pace of innovation and getting products out there that make people's lives simpler and, easier to use, even though the technology is getting more complicated and even though there's more of it out there and the pace is picking up a bit.
So Bob, can you give us a by the numbers look at the creation of the H-Series?
So we're releasing the H-Series. There are 3 different variants. We're releasing an H30, which is a 37 centimeter. We're releasing an H60, which will be a 60 centimeter, and the H90, which is a 1 meter dome. So we'll be releasing those 3 products. We started on this product development probably just over 4 years ago. We knew that we needed to do some things different. We knew there were a lot of new networks coming along. We knew we needed new capacity. We knew architecturally there was a lot we were going to have to do to stay on top of things in the future. So that's really what drove us getting into this. And really the H-Series is just a culmination of pretty much everything we wanted to do and everything we knew we needed to do, and hopefully anticipating, what we're going to need in the future to be covered as well. So that was really the impetus for it.
I understand that this is one antenna for Wi-Fi, for cell, and for satellite service, and very importantly also with auto connectivity. What do you consider to be the greatest challenge to overcome, and how did KVH do it?
Well, the challenge really is, it's something that's been around for a while. Whenever you're dealing with modem, radio, and antenna system, one of the biggest constraints is how close can you get that antenna, or how much gain can you get into that antenna, and how close can you get it to the actual receiver or to the transmitter. In the case of, I'll just talk cellular because that's an easy one. I think a lot of people get it. People go to put a cellular hotspot on their boat. And what happens is you're faced with a choice of, okay, let's mount this down below where the user can get an access point. They can use their phones and PCs and products on board. But the cellular service, you really want to have that antenna up as high as you can possibly get it. You want to get the gain so that as you're offshore, you can maximize your distance, with the signal loss. And if you go ahead and throw a big long RF cable on that, now you get a giant problem because you've created a loss. So people have played with amplifiers on the antennas, and that's just really a zero-sum gain sort of noise loss problem. And everyone's tried this and everyone's played around with it. And the real answer to the solution is to put a ruggedized cellular radio. And in the case of the the case of the H-Series is what we call a TCM. It's a terrestrial communications module that's been specifically designed for the marine environment. And we put that right up in the radome with the VSAT antenna. And we've got, a number of diversity antennas, high gain antennas for that radio set up in the radome. So there's basically antennas connected with minimal loss, maximizing the gain of what they're picking up. And by doing that, we're able to prevent all of that sort of design trade-off of how do you live with it. You don't have to live with it. We get you the antenna up high, we get you the gain, and then we mirror that with the Wi-Fi bridge as well. A lot of people don't even want to use marina Wi-Fi, and at least on the leisure side. It's maybe not as much a concern in commercial, but in the leisure side, people don't even want to use marina Wi-Fi because every time you walk around your boat or go below decks or you go behind something, you'll lose coverage. So again, you'd love to have it up high, you'd love to have high gain, and then you'd love to have the access points down below where the crew or where people can actually use the systems. And that's where the H-Series shines. And then we've carried that one step further, and we've even done it with the VSAT. So we've taken the VSAT, and what traditionally is the sort of Achilles heel of any VSAT system are the RF cabling going from the below decks from the modem up to the dome. We've known that for a number of years, and you can mitigate it through high quality connectors, high quality installations, waterproof connections and things like that, just high quality components. But you can eliminate the problem altogether if you put the modem up inside the radome. So what we've done is we've specifically integrated a conformally coated, extra thermally protected modem into a ruggedized enclosure that's up in the radome. So this all lives up inside that radome, and it maximizes all of those antenna gains and minimizes all the loss. So really what we run from the antenna now down to below deck is a piece of coax, but it's really an Ethernet power cable. It's a gigabit Ethernet cable running to the below deck.
And now that's awesome. So can you take a little bit deeper dive into the auto switching? And specifically, is auto switching the only option, or if I'm a vessel owner or a leisure owner, can I do it manually?
So the way the system works, and it's not a binary, it's an automatic system, but there is a manual mode. So if at any time anyone decides they want to manually lock into a connection, you're more than welcome to go do that. It's a very simple interface. But the auto connection is really the default. And the way it works is a lot different from what people have done historically. It's not an on-off, fail-safe, backup, switch over when you lose a service. What we're really doing is continuously monitoring the health of the links. So we've got those 3 links up in the dome. We've got a VSAT link, we've got a cellular link, and we've got a Wi-Fi bridge link. We're continuously monitoring the signal quality. We're monitoring packet loss. We're monitoring latency. We're monitoring jitter. And we monitor a few other critical criteria that help us determine what a healthy link looks like. We take all that information and we run it through a very complex algorithm that is able to look at each of the individual links at any given time and say, okay, I know the prioritization, but let's not put you on a link that doesn't look good. Even if it's connected, even if it's available, it may still not be the best solution for you to maintain your connectivity. And I think we've all experienced that at one point or another. If you take your cell phone and you go to a crowded area, and all of a sudden, you've got 4 bars on your cell phone, but you can't pass a text message, right? Because the data won't go through. You can't send a picture. You're looking at your phone saying, why can't I do this? Well, you can't do it because there's, thousands of other people doing it. That's the answer. So if any one of those connections shows a degradation, the system can automatically accommodate that. And it's set up to make sure that there's no excessive switching or things like that. But the overall goal is just to take that all out of the mind of whoever's using the system. Technology is really cool, but if you're a leisure user or commercial user, you want one thing. You want the same thing. You want the system to work. It's really cool if someone can explain all the neat technology behind the scenes and how it all happens, but you really just want it to work is what it comes down to. So, the goal of this is to just make it work and just to take you out of that equation and not have you think about what it's doing or how it's doing it. So that's really the beauty of the system.
What do you consider to be the key technical highlights of the new H-Series, both in regards to its performance today and its ability to be future-proof to the coming generation of networks?
The real beauty of it, I think one of the biggest innovations is probably that single cable design, that gigabit Ethernet over coax design. That allows us to layer all sorts of future applications. You can imagine all sorts of other types of things jumping onto that backbone, so to speak. And that gives us sort of an information superhighway down from above deck to the below deck unit. It's really, really a key part to the architecture. There's a few other things involved in this. All of the electronics have been designed to be common across the entire product line. They're all using state-of-the-art electronics, all using state-of-the-art software, all designed with cybersecurity, encryption from the BIOS level up through the code. It's really a platform that allows us to develop and keep moving forward in the future. That's one of the key elements. We see this as really being the workhorse of our communications product line in the future going forward. So we're pretty excited about it. So that I would say that's really the gist of it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Bob, again, I truly appreciate your time, and I look forward to talking to you again in the future.
All right. Fantastic. Thanks.